Michael Hernandez of MLH Media and Valley Fight News, and I'm here today with Blace Proffer, the Team Black young student. He is currently a bantamweight with a 3-3 record, and he had a fight most recently at Daniel Compton Central Coast Fighting Championship. I got to meet him. He just exuded me with energy, and he came at me. And he showed me he was ready, man. So I really wanted to talk to this young fella and get him a chance to share his story, man. So how you doing today, Blaze?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for talking to me about that.
Of course, bro. Yes. So you had a fight most recently at the Central Coast Fighting Championship, and it was a little bit of it was a crazy first round, man. With that first round ending with that armbar. So take us through it with you, because I wanted to talk to you after your fight, but obviously it's a little bit of a crazy thing to try and get to talk to everybody after the fight, you know. So what was going through your mind with the whole armbar situation and with the whole first round? Because it seemed on the feet you were doing fairly well, and then kind of once it went to that ground, that's where the trouble began. And you got out of the armbar, I believe, but kind of just take it through for you.
So this is my first fight back after a year. I had a little injury going on. So I was kind of worried about the ring rust and everything, but I actually felt hella good in there, bro. Like I was putting it on him with the striking, and I just decided to take him down because I felt like I was better on the feet and on the ground. I made like a little mistake. I put like my knee too close to his body, and he was able to kind of flip me off of him. And then I reversed him again, and then that's when I got caught in the armbar. He had me pretty tight for a second. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think most people would have probably tapped to that, but like tapping was just not an option for me at that moment. I would have rather fucking lost the arm than lost the fight. Right as I had pulled my arm out just enough, just created just enough space so that I wasn't in danger, I let the ref know that I was good. And that was my first mistake. I shouldn't have said anything. The ref thought I verbally tapped, and we stopped the fight, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it was it was kind of crazy for me even recording, because I looked at my phone and I kind of looked through my phone and I see you getting up. So I think the round's over because the 10-second mark had just hit. And I was like, okay, you know, just about to go into round two. And then they called off the fight. And I was just like, wait, what? So that I was definitely really disappointed in that outcome, because that was going to be it was going to be a good fight.
Yes.
And even if it wasn't on the standing, it looked like it was going to be definitely a battle between you two on the ground, because you guys definitely had that ground experience for sure. But take us through your past experiences. I know you had said you just had a little bit of a layoff right now because you were injured for about a year, but before that you were fighting for the Zunglao Fighting Championship, I believe, and then you had fought for a 209 beatdown. So take us through those fights, because I mean you always have a very interesting style. I mean, even the commentators like to speak. You love to throw those hands, man. So kind of just take us through it, being a former wrestler and kind of going into the striking world.
So my first three fights, my first fight I took on 5 days notice. Second fight was like 18 hours notice. And then third fight was like 2 weeks notice. So I didn't have a ton of time to like get mentally prepared and everything. So those fights were pretty much all wrestling from me. And then my last three fights I've been trying to upgrade my fucking striking a little bit and, you know, try to live up to the Team Black reputation.
Yeah, for sure. Those guys at Team Black, man, they can for sure stand up and give it to them in the best of ways. Because I mean, you got guys like James Guidry, obviously producing highlight reels every other day, and then you had Ricky Melendez there, and he was throwing some absolute bombs in his matchups. So you guys definitely got some fighters that can throw those hands. But take us through your style a little bit and your MMA journey. I mean, you originally hail from Los Banos, I believe, reading on your Tapology report, and then you train out of Team Black. So kind of just take us through the progression. You know, you originally started off as a wrestler and then going into the striking world. So where did you start wrestling? Did you start wrestling in high school? Was it in junior high? Take us through the whole combat sports journey, man.
Yeah, so I don't actually hail from Los Banos. That's just where my first fight was. I come from Santa Ramon area. I wrestled at Cal High. I started my sophomore year, but like the day before my first match, I got injured and was out the whole season. So my real season started junior year and senior year. My senior year, I wrestled up 2, maybe even 3 weight classes if you're, you know, considering the fact that I didn't cut at all. And I didn't do as well as I wanted to that season. So when I graduated, I kind of had this like competitive gap in my heart. I don't know what you want to call it. But I started getting into competing. want to say 2021.
Yeah, that was your first. That was I was gonna believe your first fight. So you're right on. You're right on point, man. And when did you graduate high school? Because you said you still have this fire built up. So was it a while before you hopped in that octagon, or did you hop in right after your kind of graduation? You're allowed to.
So I graduated 2017, and I was doing like, trying to start a business with a buddy for a while, and then we both got into training, and I took it, a lot more serious than he did, and pretty quickly I determined that I wanted to compete. And I found Dan in 2019, and that was like right before COVID hit. So, I wasn't able to train for like a year and a half, close to 2 years. I couldn't, get in there and compete. But as soon as COVID was over, I jumped in there, started getting active.
Yeah, and take us through that relationship that you got with Dan Black, even down to when you first met him, because he's definitely a very interesting character in the MMA world.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of my favorite coaches that I get to see in the corner for fighters, because he has a ton of knowledge, not only in the MMA game, but just in the life game, man. He always is spitting some facts. So kind of just take us through it, man. What have you learned from Dan Black, and what exactly would you say you've taken from your experience in training with him for the last 3 or 4 years?
I was kind of in a transition period. I had moved and I didn't know where I was going to keep training. And one day I rolled through Arena down in Livermore, and he just happened to be, teaching classes there. And I asked him, how quick does he turn people around and get them fighting? And the next day he put me in the cage with James, and he was just kicking my ass. So that's pretty much been the first 2.5 years of me training, was just me getting my ass kicked every night. Showing up beat up and bruised. And I live hella far from the gym too, so it's like a 2-hour drive every night just to go out there and train.
Yeah, that's definitely some true dedication, man. So are you a little bit closer now, or are you still making that 2-hour drive?
No, I work in the Danville area, so after work, depending on the traffic, it's like an hour 15-ish, and then like 45 minutes back home.
Oh, okay. So
And I'll spend like 4 hours at the gym too, so it's no big deal for me.
yeah,
Got nothing else I'd rather be doing.
Yeah, no, luckily it equates out, right? And you're able to get that time in the gym. But man, that's absolutely crazy, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you Bay Area people are familiar with that, having to make those long distance drives. And man, 2 hours to train, that just absolutely goes to show your dedication to your craft and putting in those time, man, because that's a hell of a drive. Knowing me having to make those drives for the MMA shows, man, I can't even imagine going in the gym and just hopping in and training, especially with guys like James Guidry, Dan Black, and all the other crazy grapplers that you guys even have at Team Dumiyama. So kind of going to that, would you say that you really have kind of crisped up on some of your grappling maybe some of your things in the grappling field now that you're training at Team Dumiyama? Because even though they got some killers at Team Black MMA, man, they definitely got some great grapplers over there at Team Dumiyama as well.
Oh, for sure. Team Dumiyama brought in Benny Orozco and Mason Hartshorn. He's a nationally ranked Greco-Roman wrestler, and getting in work with those two guys has really upgraded my grappling game for sure. And he's been taking us out to Dan's been taking us out to like El Nino with the Scrap Pack guys, Waffle House. Like, he's got all kinds of boys that are super good grapplers. He's making sure I get that work in.
Yeah, would you say that what would you say has been your favorite kind of gym? Because you guys, I mean, it feels like you guys travel all within those San Francisco areas, man. You guys go to El Nino, you guys go to, it seems like you guys got good relationships with every gym. Is there a favorite that you maybe go to and you just feel like you get challenged the most there for your weight class?
I would say El Nino is definitely up there. Every time I've gone out there, like, I'll be sparring with a dude that's in Bellator and I don't even know it. And I'm getting good work in with him. I find him on Instagram after. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
it's the real deal right there.
That's definitely funny you mentioned that, because that's how I feel sometimes when I'm watching those grappling matchups at the MMA events, and I'm like, wow, that guy's really good at grappling. And then somebody right next to me is like, yeah, that guy fights professionally, and you're like, oh my gosh, what? Like, so that's definitely pretty crazy that you go through that same experience and you're actually physically fighting these guys on the mats for probably minutes on end, and you had no idea that these guys are professionals. But that just goes to sharpen your skills as well, I'm pretty sure, and you're definitely getting better by the day. But take us through it. What was your next matchup that you were looking to go ahead and do? I knew that one of your teammates, Carly Lombardo, they had a matchup coming up here in Utah, coming in the next couple of days, and that was going to be a pretty big matchup for her. Obviously, it's going to be her first matchup after that King of the Cage loss in Oregon that I think was kind of stopped a little short. But what would you say? Are you looking to maybe hop on that Utah card, or was there or did you maybe want to take a little bit of a break? Because I mean, you only got one round of action in, so I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you still got a little bit of an itch in you.
Yeah. Well, the promoter did hit me up or hit Dan up and said he wanted to fly me out there and get me on the card, but my arm's pretty sore from that armbar. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just icing it, heating it, getting it back to working shape. I'm planning for a Muay Thai fight up at A1 Combat on June 10th. So yeah, I'm just gonna get ready for that right now. Get
Awesome, awesome.
some pure striking matches in.
Yes, no, and I plan on being at that Muay Thai card for A1 Combat,
Oh,
so I
sick.
can't wait to see you over there, Blaze. That's going to definitely be a great card. It's going to be A1's first Muay Thai card, I believe. So it'll
Oh,
definitely be a
sick.
very interesting card to watch how it plays out and everything like that. But is there any chance we're going to see Blaze in any jiu-jitsu competitions pretty soon? Because
Oh,
I know you got that wrestling pedigree, so I know you for sure you train on the mats, but was there any chance we'd be able to see you on an IBJFF or ADCC? Was there any chance you were looking to go into that realm?
oh, for sure. I haven't really done any of that yet, but it's definitely something I plan to do. I'd say jujitsu is the one thing I gotta catch up more than anything else. But I pick up on the grappling shit real quick, so I'm not really worried about that too
Yeah,
much.
those wrestlers, man, they definitely it seems like they take one day in those jiu-jitsu gyms and they just make it worth the whole week, man, because they can definitely take a whole lot from one lesson in jiu-jitsu and really just apply it to all their years of learning from wrestling. So I can definitely see where you're saying that you picking up on this grappling stuff pretty quick, and you're not feeling like you gotta really, like, oh my gosh, I gotta hop in these jiu-jitsu gyms, because that's definitely how a lot of strikers feel. They gotta ease
Yeah,
up on all
yeah,
the ground stuff. But for you, it's a little bit of the opposite. You're touching up on the top, but man, it seems like even in those fights, I got to watch your last one for the Zoom Lao when you fought. It was another fellow Irishman. I'm forgetting his
yeah.
last name, but you guys absolutely put on a great fight, and that was probably one of the more fun fights I've got to watch for Zoom Lao's fighting championship. But take us through that one, because I believe his last name was Simmons, and
Saunders.
Saunders, yes,
Yep, yep.
Saunders. You and him had a great fight. Kind of take us through it, man, because that was your last complete full fight, I believe, and that was a banger.
Yeah, that was a fun fight. I was trying to keep it on the feet for the most part because he's a brown belt and I'm a white belt. I was kind of like I was not super worried, but I was cautious about it. I didn't want to get caught in something that I didn't know how to get out of. I never really felt threatened by any submissions, or he didn't get me in any positions that I couldn't get out of or reverse. Yeah, it was just that weight cut, I think, that took too much energy out of me. It's only my second time going down to 135. I don't really have it super ironed out yet. But Saturday night at 155, I felt great. I had a ton of energy at the end of that round. I felt like I could have done 5-minute rounds.
Yeah, do you feel like lightweight or maybe featherweight, because that's right in between a bantamweight and a lightweight? Do you feel featherweight's probably going to be your mainstay for your pro ventures, or do you feel like lightweight just the no cut it really serves you well?
I don't think I would go lightweight because I'll wake up at 150, so that 5-pound cut is nothing. So put on a little more mass maybe and go for 145. It's probably the best bet for me, or really just figure out how to cut down there perfectly and have all that energy at 135.
Yeah, definitely it's a mastery. It's like getting down
Yeah.
to a science with those weight cuts, especially when you're having to drop. I feel past 15 pounds, it's really hard to just drop those pounds off, because the 5 to 10 range, sometimes you can wake up and lose 7 pounds, but you don't just wake
Yeah.
up and lose 15 pounds. So that's definitely a little bit more challenging. But I give you the best of luck in that journey, man, because either way, if we get to see you at 35, 45, 55, it's something about you Team Black guys, man. You guys all like to move around weight classes, but you guys are killers, man. You guys definitely know how to put on a show if it's either at lightweight or if it's at bantamweight. But Just a couple more questions here for you, Blaze, because I know you got valuable time. Today's your day off. I'm pretty sure you want to enjoy it. But, you said you were looking to hop back in the Muay Thai cage and hopefully Jiu-Jitsu pretty soon. But is there any MMA cards you're maybe looking to hop back on? I know you had competed for the Zoom Lao promotion. You had just competed for Central Coast Fighting Championship. Was there maybe a fighting championship or somewhere in the California area that you wanted to hit up again? I know 559 Fights always has some fights going on over there. Valley Fight Series. There's promotions everywhere, man. Was there perhaps a promotion you were looking to dabble your toes into?
Yeah, so I was gonna jump on this Zonglu card on the 20th, but I'm gonna be out of town unfortunately, so I can't do that. I know he's got another event planned, I think in August at the Cow Palace. So, hopefully I can get a good spot on that card. So that would be a cool venue to fight on. Other than that, I want to run it back with this Nate Santos guy as soon as I can. He pulled me aside after the fight and he said that his coaches were saying Sun Valley, that promotion. They're
Oh
saying they
yes.
could do something in September. We can run it back there. So, just whatever Dan presents me with, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome, man. Hearing that you and Nate gotta chop it up a little bit after, because I know sometimes with those losses, some guys take it as like, I got my belt, I don't want to talk to the opponent, but that's good that y'all were
Yeah,
chopping it up after, and hopefully that rematch comes into fruition, man. Because I know both you guys as athletes, you don't just want to end it off on that note, especially with that belt being
of
on the
course not.
line. So I could definitely understand where you're itching to get back in there with Nate, man. But hopefully that matchup gets set up. If it's not for Sun Valley, then hopefully Daniel Compton's able to cook up you guys in the next card, because I would definitely be very game to watch you guys as the main event for that event over there in Santa Cruz. That'd be awesome. And then it would be for the lightweight championship, because that was for the interim
Yeah,
lightweight championship. So you guys could maybe ring it out for the official lightweight championship for Central Coast Fighting Championship, and
yeah.
that would for sure be a banger, man.
And even if I know Daniel was talking about whoever was going to win the interim could fight Andrew Toasty because he's the 155-pound champ. So if he didn't want to run it back on his promotion right away, I'd fight the 145-pound champ if he wants to throw me in there with Ramon Corneo, I think his name is. So I'll take whoever
Yes.
they got.
Yeah, that would definitely be a very awesome matchup as well. Ramon Cornejo, he's a killer. He's got that grappling pedigree. I feel like that would be a pretty fun matchup to watch between you guys, because you got that wrestling background and that Irishman in you that loves to throw those hands, and I feel like
Yes,
that would
sir.
definitely be a fun matchup for Cornejo, man. I really enjoyed your time today, Blaze. It was awesome getting to talk to you at the Central Coast Fighting Championship, and then after getting to sit down and enjoy some grub over at Buffalo and watch that fight and watch Aljo take it over to Henry. And hopefully I get to see you again, man, because you're definitely you got a bright future ahead of you, man. So I'm very excited
Thank
to
you.
see where not only MMA takes you, but I'm very excited for this Muay Thai card coming up on what was it again? It was for Uriah Faber's A1 Combat. What was the date?
Yeah, yeah. June 10th.
June 10th. Yeah, that's going to
Yep.
be June 10th, man. Make sure to mark that down in your calendars, folks. Uriah Faber's A1 Combat. They're going to be doing the first Muay Thai card, and Blace Proffer is going to be on it. We got a couple of guys over in the local area from 805 Kickboxing that are going to be on it. So make sure you guys are buying your tickets before it sells out, man, because it's definitely going to be a fun show, full of striking and full of stand-up, man. So was there any last words that you had today, Blace? Anybody you wanted to thank or anybody you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, man. Thank you to everybody that supported in this last fight. Everyone that made the long drive down and watched the live stream or whatever. I'm pretty disappointed. Not that I have a loss on my record. I could care less about that. I'm just disappointed I didn't get to go out there and perform for 9 minutes and show everybody what I was working on because I didn't get to establish my range or like make reads and kind of develop a plan around that. So you know, just looking forward to the next one and getting to show off everything I've been working on the past year.
Yeah. One last note, because I really like that you touched on the work you were putting in, for the fight. It wasn't so much the loss, it was more of the fact that you didn't get a show. It's the fact of you studied for the test and you didn't even get to take it.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
definitely what it is.
Yeah,
It's like, you study for the test, you're doing all the right things, and they tell you midway into the test, like, hey man, give me your pen and pencil, you cheated, like, or so
Yeah,
I
yeah, for
definitely
real.
can understand where you're frustrated, man, and hopefully you get your run back and you get that championship belt presented to you once again, man, because you definitely deserve that opportunity, especially after that first round. It was gonna be a good fight, man. So I'm very
Oh,
sorry
for
that
sure.
that happened to you, but it's only going to create more opportunities, hopefully, in the long run. And I know Dan Black, he's going to get you, right and get you set up with the right opportunities and the right people to continue just prospering that MMA career, man. Because that dude, he's a legend in the MMA community, man. So he's going to keep on
Yes,
doing his
sir.
thing, and you're going to keep on doing your thing, Blace, man. So
Yeah.
just keep on doing you, man. But this is going to be it from Michael Hernandez of MLH Media and Valley Fight News. And we're going to be signing out with my boy from Team Black, Blace Proffer.
Peace.